Prakash, your take on the market, and does it seem like the bounce that we've seen in the last two sessions is sustainable?
Well, Aisha, what seems like happening is the bounce could continue a bit more. Maybe it could test at 59.30 kind of levels, given the fact that we still have a lot of put writing that's on at the 5800 mark. But my sense is, profit booking will definitely be part of the game, and particularly the way we've seen the mid caps react. Some of the large caps would also kind of, be subject to some sort of quick profit booking. So, it might not be a very long run, it might not test all-time highs, but yes, it could probably, till the new credit policy, till the RBI announces a rate cut potentially, on the 18, 19. I think the markets could probably perk up a bit, that's all.
Prakash, let's talk about some of the stocks that have been doing well over the last few days. RIL is definitely one of them that seems to be back in flavor again. What's your call on the index heavyweight?
I think it distinctly seems to be seeing a lot of smartening up. If you see the kind of investor profile that's changed over the quarter, RIL has suddenly started getting into most of the institutional books in a significant percentage, and that's happened post the buyback from the company getting over. So in a way, the threshold has been established, the base has been established. People have started venturing into it afresh. And given the fact that the telecom launch, also the 4G launch, also seems very imminent now, and that being a low-cost mass kind of a thing that they're looking at, it could kind of change the ratings for the company entirely and not keep it restricted to the issues on the oil and gas side. So I think RIL could probably lead the rally, and you could probably see it contributing significantly to the Nifty's move going forward.
Prakash, what have you made of the FIPB nod coming in for the JV with Tata's and Air Asia? And does it seem like this could perk up the industry as such?
Well, I don't know whether it'll perk up the share prices of the players, but it'll definitely be a benefit for the consumers. In the true sense, Air Asia is one of the most successful low-cost carriers, and it could probably pave way for a lot of competitive pricing, and which means that some of the existing players who have been taking advantage of the Kingfisher debacle could probably start having to pull their stocks up and start looking at operations to be much more efficient. So I wouldn't buy into any of the existing stocks. In fact, SpiceJet could be a great sell at this point in time that it's appreciated. But Kingfisher, Spice, Jet, all of them would probably start struggling in terms of the competitiveness given the AirAsia experience we've had in the past.
Prakash, what about the infra pack, that's been hammered in trade over the last few weeks again? Do you think it's best for investors to keep away from the infra basket?
Absolutely. I don't think, just in the hope of this sector rotation theory, you could probably wait for infra to kind of start looking up. Unless the government really backs it with some sort of announcement. The investment allowance decision in the budget is really not something that could kickstart the capex cycle, which would benefit most of these listed infra players. So, there would be a little bit of a time gap, and an opportunity definitely would be available once those announcements are made. So I don't think I would be in a hurry to buy into these infra stocks. L&T has, of course, gone through a re-rating of sorts from some of the brokerages, and that's why you see it. But I think it's more from an oversold zone that is coming into a neutral kind of a zone. But I wouldn't really venture out into infra as yet.
Prakash, what about IT? We've seen continued strength in this space. Is it time now to book profits, or is there still further headroom purely because growth is going to kick in for the sector?
No, absolutely, Aisha. I think it's just the beginning of a fairly strong secular run, potentially a secular run in IT stocks. Given the fact that things could look up in the US and the dollar could kind of, be in again for a fairly strong innings again. Very clearly IT is poised to kind of be one of those defensive plays which could do well irrespective of how things look up within the domestic scene. So I think some of the select IT names could be very good in terms of having on the portfolio, and especially the valuations are also not stretched at all. So a re-rating could definitely be imminent for most of these stocks.
All right, Prakash, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining in with that perspective on markets at lunch. That's Street View at lunch coming in from Prakash Diwan.